Good afternoon, Saturday, March 23rd, 2024. Best baseball player of the year, 1873. Pitching. Best pitcher, 1873, Al Spalding. Now, you've heard of the Spalding baseball. This guy was a character. But he did play Major League Baseball for 6 years. From 1871 through 1877. For the year 1873, I looked up Baseball Reference. And I looked at 9 categories: wins, innings, strikeouts, shutouts, games started, complete games, earned run average, winning percentage, and saves. Al Spalding won 4 categories out of those 9. Had the most victories, 41. Most innings, 496. Games started, 54 of them. And he has a winning percentage of 745. 4 categories. There are other pitchers during that time that won some categories. Harry Wright had 4 saves. You've heard of Harry Wright. He was one of the pioneers in the 1870s of Major League Baseball. Cherokee Fisher had a 1.81 ERA. Dick McBride had 3 shutouts, and Bobby Matthews led the National League in strikeouts, 79. There's no American League yet. They got going about 1901. Van Johnson, president of the American League. Let's look at Al Spalding. Like I said, he's a character that is very strange to me. 20 years old, 1871, wins 19 games. And in 1872, he wins 38. Back then, the 1870s, pitching, these guys stayed in the game 9 innings and probably pitched every 2 days, sometimes every day, sometimes every 2 days, maybe at the most every 3 days. So as a result, Al Spalding in 1872 had 48 games started. But 1873, he's the best pitcher. Why? 41 wins. Listen to this. 54 games started. And he has 46 complete games and pitches 496 innings. Whoa! Today's pitchers, about 200 innings, right? 225, maybe 250 at the most. Back in the 50s and 60s, some of the pitchers were pitching 300 innings. But back in the 1870s and around the turn of the century, 1880s, 1890s, turn of the century, these guys were 9 innings, 10 innings pitching, did not come out of the game. And like I said, every other day they were pitching. Sometimes they pitched double headers. So the wins and the innings really pile up. Did you know that in 6 years, I didn't know this until I studied Al Spalding. In 6 years, he won 251 games. This is incredible. It really is. He must have pitched every other day, or maybe every day. 251 wins in 6 years. That's an average of 42 wins per year. Now, today's pitchers, they're striving to try to get to 20 wins. Back in the, after the turn of the century, some of the pitching, Cy Young, Walter Johnson, they were winning 30 games. Pete Alexander, Christy Mathewson. Then you got to the 1930s, a guy named Dizzy Dean won some 30 games. You get to 1960s, Denny McClain won 30 games. But then most of the guys were under 30. The 60s, 70s. Koufax had 27 wins one year. 70s, 80s, you get to the turn of the new century, 2000, and nobody's winning more than 25 games. I mean, it's about 20 to 22 games. Al Spalding, listen to this. 1871, 19 wins, okay. 1872, 38. 1873, 41 wins. And then he outdoes himself. 1874, 52 wins. Then 1875, 54 wins. 1876, 47 wins. 1938, 41, 52, 54, and 47. This is unheard of. And 1877 didn't win any games. So in 6 years, 251 wins. This is ridiculous. It really is. What happened back then? How did that happen? I don't know. I did read a book on Al Spalding. It's hard to get through it, his biography. He stops pitching at age 25. Do you know that if he had pitched 20 seasons, Walter Johnson, 20 seasons, I think 21 seasons for Walter Johnson, Cy Young, 22 seasons, maybe more. You know, Cy Young holds the record, 511 wins, but he pitched 22 years. If Al Spalding had pitched 22 years, he was averaging 42 wins a year. Now, maybe in year 8, 9, 10, it's not 50 wins a season. Maybe he's in the 30s. Maybe he goes down to the 20s. I think Al Spalding was on pace. If he pitched 22 years, he had 251 in 6 years. If he pitches 22 years, and maybe his average goes down as far as wins, I think he could have been 700 wins, maybe 800 wins. What do you think? He was averaging 42 wins a year. 20 wins, or 20 seasons at 42 is 800 wins. So I think he's probably, to be conservative, would be 600, 650 wins. And then if he's really dominating, he probably could have been in the 700 win pitching club. Would that been amazing? But as a result, he stopped pitching at age 25. Why? I think he went into business. Spalding baseball. I guess back then the pitching salary was not that much, maybe a couple thousand a year. But when he got into his corporation and the production of the Spalding baseball and I think some other baseball equipment, I think he made more than $2,000 a year. Of course, I'd have to read again about his life. He probably made a lot of money in his career. That's probably why he got out of baseball. I don't know. Anyway, Al Spalding dominates 1873 as far as the best pitcher that year. Next video, 1874. Talk to you later. I'm out.